That's my baby. I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, welcome back, fam. We are back for another episode of our Athlete Spotlight. Got another special one for you this afternoon, as I'm going to be joined by Lion Fight Promotions Cruiserweight champion, Mr. Chip Moraza-Pollard. How are we doing this afternoon, my friend?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me.
Already, I see. We're in the shiner already.
Yep.
Training hard, right?
That's it.
Training partners working. That's a good thing.
You know, a little clash of little head collision and some punches. You know, it'll do the trick. But
well, at least you didn't get what Jessica I got Saturday night, because that was nasty.
I didn't even see it.
Man, like they were both like, it looked like Jennifer Maya might have been going underneath to go for a takedown, and she was going in hard for a jab, and it clacked heads, and she got a third eye for Miss Jessica I.
That'll do it.
So at least you did it during training camp, had the headgear on, and you just got a little shiner for it. So, you know, that's a good thing there. But, you know, as always, my friend, you know, appreciate the time. I know, you know, training camp's obviously going. We got a little bit less than 2 weeks, right, before you head over to Sicily.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. July 31st. Yeah, man, we ready to go.
All right. But before we get into it, real quick, I want to, you know, get our read out of the way. And our show this afternoon is brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Check out Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy LLC. 2 locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill. He's our doc now. Let's make him yours. That's specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And let's get into it, man. You know, obviously, you know, me and you go back, man, to my old straight radio days. You know, it was just audio only. Now, you know, I actually get to see your smile for once, so that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. And, you know, obviously, you know, you were one of these guys who kind of like, you know, you didn't know what was going on in MMA. Kind of switched over to Muay Thai and absolutely have taken to it. On an 8-fight winning streak now, looking to make it 9 on the 31st, and that's actually my poll question. That is will you make it 9? I agree. I think you are gonna do your thing and you know, keep the streak going, keep the title going, and you know, have some fun on July 31st. You know, I know it's you know, it's always tough defending the title. You got these hungry guys coming after you. What are your thoughts on your opponent here?
I mean, it's actually going to be 12 fights in a row so far, so it'll be my 8th title defense. But so it's like,
yeah, that's what I meant by title defenses.
Yeah, but no, he's a good fighter. I mean, everybody I fight is good fighters now. Obviously, if they're going to challenge for the world title, they got to be worthy of that for Lion Fight to put him in there with me. And he's no different. He's had a lot of success in Thailand, overseas. Just a solid Nakamura, very good Muay Thai fighter, very technical. He's a warrior. He's had some battles in his career that I've seen. Another really tall dude. Everybody they have me fight as tall, but he's a little bit taller than a lot of the guys. I think he's closer to like 6'6" than he is like 6'5". But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it, especially the first one after not fighting for so long.
Yeah, man. That was going to my other one. Like, how hard has it been like this layoff? For I mean, a lot of you guys, as soon as it got opened up, I'm sure you guys were beating Scott Stewart down. Like, hey, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Here we are. Like, you know, they're slowly coming back. You know, obviously, you know, you're getting some of the international stuff, which has always been fun with Lion Fight. But like, what was that whole process going through the lockdown, going through, you know, not really knowing, being able to know what's going on, what's next, when's the next paycheck coming, when am I fighting again? And, you know, here we are, you know, it's well over a year since, and, you know, some places are fully functional again. Some places are not. Some you're still under, you know, some pretty strict guidelines. UFC just had a big event there full, full fans and everything for this past weekend for their 264 event. So, like, kind of walk us through what the past year or so has been through, and how you feeling now that you're gonna have the fans there. It's gonna be another one of these fun experiences.
Hey man, it was crazy. It was crazy for everybody. With gym shutting down, everything like that, you had to find ways to keep training and keep working on your craft without being able to spar with people and clinch with people. So you had to like kind of rig up your own little home workout area and everything like that.
Did you invest in any dummies? I got to ask you that one. Did you invest in any like those big like 150 grappling dummies you normally see, so you can kind of do some things that work that way?
Do some tie clinch with them. No, I actually I set up this little room I'm in right now, in the basement, and I started kicking this bag I've had since I was a little kid. So I managed to stay active. I started doing a little bit more like calisthenics and a little bit of like strength and conditioning and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, once things started getting back to normal, it was just good to be able to kick somebody again, But obviously stepping into the actual ring and getting to throw down for the first time since January of 2020. I'm lucky that I got to get in there right before everything shut down. I know a lot of people, they didn't get a chance to, but yeah, that was my last one. So it's been a while. So it's gonna be fun just getting to climb over those ropes again and get to throw down with somebody.
What's gonna be the more exciting thing to land first? A kick, a punch, an elbow. What's gonna be the more exciting thing when you get in there?
I mean, just being in there, but I mean, shoot, like they're just whatever it is that lands first. It's whether it's a punch, whether it's a kick, a knee, just a sweep, anything. Just being in there and even just hearing the crowd go off and hearing them announce you and just making that walk to the ring for the first time. It's gonna be awesome, man. I can't wait.
Any special music you got lined up for this one? We just seen the UFC guy just knocked out Greg Hardy, came at the Spice Girls for his fight. You got any special music coming out for yours?
No Spice Girls for me. That could have been in the running if I had thought about it. But yeah, we'll see. I always like to switch it up with the entrance music. I like to keep it like fitting for me coming back after so long. I'll have to think about something. I don't know. Might have to get some like Jay-Z public service announcement or something like that.
Hey man, whatever's gonna get your juices flowing right before you walk out there, man. Yeah, do it, man. Like it's kind of like a rebirth for everyone, so to speak. When you've been laid off for this long, and so I think one of the things is you're gonna look for some of these guys to just kind of come out and be a little overzealous, and let's see if somebody's gonna use their technique over their emotion when it comes to the 31st, because it's gonna happen.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, for me, technique always comes first, so I don't think I'll be worried about it too much. Like, I think when I get in there, it'll just be like no time has passed at all. It'll just be right back.
Muscle memory's a mofo, man, and don't let you forget nothing.
You've done it this many times, you get in there and it's like, okay, back to work.
Now, I know you said you didn't watch the UFC, but I'm sure you kind of heard what's been, what was the result of that night was for the big fight. Conor McGregor breaks not one, but actually, if you heard about the surgery, he broke both of them because they put the rod in the one and the screws in the plates in the other. So he's off the foot for at least 6 weeks.
Oh yeah,
It's been, but it's crazy now. Now, it's one of the things I talk like people are trying to sit there and downplay. Like, I think he had maybe a micro fracture in the shin at some point in time. I don't know if it was in that fight, before that fight, but there's no way that it just breaks like that off of nothing. People want to downplay this, that, and the third, but it's one of those things. Like listen, if you throw naked kicks and you don't set things up, bad things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the things, like, especially when we're talking about Muay Thai and this, like, you guys probably see micro fractures and breaks like that more often because people you guys are you guys got them sharp shins and elbows at this point in time. You know, when you're looking at it, and my thing about that, when you look at it in the general sense of it, he's done a lot for MMA in general, but like, dude, he's not going to be the same when you look at the type of fighter he's going to be, at least for MMA. Like, he uses his explosion from his legs, his feet to kind of break distance and cut angles and gaps. And listen, like, you know, I've been rough on in the last few years, and it's because, you know, like, it's one of these things. I feel like when you lose, you have to bring yourself back down to earth, and he's always found like an angle to excuse why it happened. Like, you have to. I read somebody made a post on it, like you have to bring yourself back down to hell. Like, even if you're at the top of the world and you lose, you got to bring yourself all the way back down and rebuild yourself back up again. And it seemed like after every single one of these fights, he would find an excuse, a reason to hold on. No, I'm still this. And it was something my co-host said. He's like, he reminds me of Mike Tyson when he came out of jail. He was trying to convince us he was the baddest man on the planet, and you knew like he still had somewhere to go to before he can get back to that level. And I kind of feel like Conor's kind of in that same thing. Like this sport is so mental sometimes. Like, don't you agree? Like, sometimes when you take that loss, no matter how big you are in the sport, you have to rebuild yourself, reinvent yourself in some type of way. Because the combat sports world, once they figure you out, it's unrelenting. It won't forget, and you can't hide from it.
Absolutely. I mean, first off, about like that, the mind state and then taking a loss. It's like, I mean, when I did MMA, because obviously I had like 20 pro MMA fights before I switched over to Muay Thai, like you said, and I lost plenty of times. So it's like you learn more about yourself and you learn what you have to do better and all these different things. But it's like you got to have that mind state to own your losses. You can't like, oh, this is why this. No, it's like, hey, you lost, own it. Like take the good things you were doing, take the bad things you were doing, and then just go back to the drawing board and figure out why that happened. But yeah, it's like if you're still trying to convince everybody that you shouldn't have lost or making excuses or whatever it is, then I mean that's not the mind state that you're gonna succeed with. I mean, not that he's already like not succeeded, because obviously he got a lot more money than I do, but. But yeah, it's like that's to stay on top. Like you said, you gotta own those losses. You gotta own your past performances, whether they're good or bad, and move from there. But as far as the shin thing goes, I mean, who knows what was going on in there beforehand? Like you said, he could have had like some little hairline fractures or something like that. My mom actually years back, she was doing a road race and she did the same thing. She had a compound fracture of her leg. They stuck a rod in there with the screws and everything. But yeah, I don't know. She had something going on before. But with the kicking in MMA, I mean, in Muay Thai, we are clashing on knees and shins and everything. Just
you're more conditioned to it on a consistent basis.
But it's like, and we're also you got to know where to place your kicks and when to place your kicks and stuff like that. Like, and nowadays in MMA, the calf kick thing is all the rage. It's like everybody wants to do calf kick. You want to check kicks with the very top of your shin, which is the same area that you're aiming for with the calf kick. So all somebody got to do is just kind of twist their leg just a very small amount, and you're kicking the part of the shin that you don't want to be kicking. And that's why you see a lot of these guys, I feel like snapping their leg in half, because one, they're not setting up their kicks like you would see in a Muay Thai fight. Everybody knows that I mean, I'm not going to go into a fight and just throw a kick as hard as I can without setting it up, because everybody I fight, they're expecting me to kick and I'm expecting them to kick, and we're both looking to check those kicks, because that's the sport. That's what we do. We check kicks, we return kicks. And it's going to happen. You're going to kick knees. You're going to kick shins multiple times a fight. But if you're just kicking blindly without setting it up, and especially if you're aiming for the calf, like a lot of these guys are now, you're running the risk of kicking the top of that shin where it's nice and hard and strong. And that's the kind of thing that might happen. So I don't know if maybe he because he was throwing some good kicks. I did manage to see that fight. He was throwing some good kicks earlier in the fight. I don't know, maybe he like ran into the shin on one of them and that could have started the job or something. I don't know. And then he twisted it up weird. But yeah, it's just, if you're not setting up those kicks, then
this is what's going to happen, folks.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like if you're not.
It's been happening a little bit more often in MMA. Like Chris Weidman was the one that just happened to recently, and it's crazy because how crazy that of a world that is. Like he more or less became famous for breaking Anderson Silva's, streak and then shin, and then as he's on his way going down, like Anderson was, he winds up having. A similar type situation. It's crazy where you're seeing these leg breaks a little bit more too often in MMA. Like it'd be different if we're talking in Muay Thai where you guys are throwing high volume of kicks on a consistent basis in your fights. But MMA has almost been unheard of, and we've gotten 2 within a calendar years. Is another one of those crazy things where we're living in a crazy world right now, right?
I mean, I'm telling you, it's those calf kicks. I mean, don't get me started with calf kicks, man. I mean, but I mean,
I never got that too, because it was like when like I would talk to my kids about it, because both of my kids go do MMA and they do stuff like that, and they've asked. I'm like, I would never throw a kick like that, because all I got to do is turn my ankle out to wherever side you're throwing it, and you're getting my shin.
Pretty much. I mean, from a technical standpoint, I mean,
Mike, if you're doing it to set up something else behind that, maybe if you know, like you're not even trying to do it, like you're trying to get the reaction from it, then that's one thing. But like,
well, I mean, obviously the stance is different for most of these MMA guys. They're a little bit
way different. Yeah.
Their foot might be turned in a little bit. So, I mean, like Poirier showed in the last fight, like it can be effective. Like if you land a lot of them clean, then I mean you're gonna jack up somebody's leg pretty good.
Well, especially when you have a stance like Conor, how he has that open karate stance, so you're leaving it out there.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I know Conor's quick, but it's one of those things where, like, it was one of the things that made him unique in the beginning. But I think it's something that he should switch in and out of when he deems it necessary. Like if you're fighting a guy like Dustin, who you know is gonna brutalize your leg down and try to chop you down with kicks. Why not? Like this is mixed martial arts, right? Like we've seen guys slip in and out of stances all the time mid-fight.
Mm-hmm.
Make an adjustment, whatever. All right, he's pounding my leg. Let's switch it around the other way.
Even for him with that stance, I mean, I would look to just because he's a little bit more nimble when he's in that kind of stance. So I would look less to try to check the kick and more to just try to get out of the way of it. But I mean, in this fight, he was the one that was throwing the kicks. I think he took a page out of Dustin's book, and he was the one throwing them. But obviously, I mean, I don't know if he ran into a shin or not, but
it's just an unfortunate situation, man. It happens on the biggest stage, and now we get all the after effects. The post fight stuff. Dana, we're gonna get a 4th fight. Well, I mean, I don't know if I want to sit there and say anyone's signing up for a 4th fight while the one guy's still being carted off on the stretcher, getting ready, getting prepped for surgery. But hey, I mean, obviously, he's still going to be a guy in the sport. I still sit there and say, you don't have anything else to prove, man. Go promote, maybe take a couple boxing, maybe open your own promotion and start your own. Like, dude, he doesn't need it anymore. And if you're really gonna stay at like we're in this mindset where you're not gonna try to rip yourself down and improve what you've already been doing and get better at other things, then what's the point, right? I mean, granted, there's $180 million reasons why he was fighting this year. I get that, I do, but I mean, the last few years have been rough on him, and I just say it's getting a Rasky-esque taste to it, like where you feel it's like everyone's caught up and like just the athletes unwilling to change, evolve, or anything. It's just we're seeing it unfortunately unfold. People are sitting there, oh well, maybe he was just a regular guy all along. We were just, I don't think he was. I just think I think someone was sitting there saying he just got really lucky with a couple punches. I don't think that's it. MMA is a game of inches, just like it is in any other sport, man. All you need is your head to turn 2.5 inches one way, and that's all you need.
Exactly. I mean, he was definitely like a talented martial artist. He still is. I mean, he had all that success, and he's capitalized on it with all his other business ventures, with his whiskey and everything like that. I mean, you almost wonder if you got your eggs in so many baskets that you lose the focus on the actual fight.
But that's another thing, like what we were talking about, that desire, that fire. You know what I mean? When you take those L's, you have to own it, rip yourself down, rebuild yourself. Like, yeah, you're still have qualities that make you one of the best fighters in the world, at your weight class, but you still have to humble yourself at times. That's something I don't think he's ever done yet.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't know the guy. I never met him. I can't speak to.
Oh, absolutely. It's just something we're looking at from our eyes outside. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean the fight game it's such a crazy thing. If you're not
I say to everyone all the time, it is so much more mental than anyone ever thinks. You could lose a fight before the fight contract signed, before you walk into the cage, before you even step onto the scale. It's one of these weird things, man. Like if other things happening outside, like. You guys need so many things to happen in a proper fashion to just get, when we talk about, get your best performance in the cage, ring, whatever the case may be. You guys need everything to work out a lot, between camp, between the travel, the weight cut, everything has to be in a certain way. And, sometimes you can deal with those things being upset, whether it be personal life, mental life, things going on the promotion, whatever. Sometimes people find a way to make that work, but then there's other times where it's just you have to find another level inside your mind to kind of what was it for love of the game, clear the mechanism.
Pretty much. He could just go and box one of the Paul brothers and then make that money. I feel like that'd be something that he would do. I mean,
and that's another thing. Like this is another thing I talk about. Like things that happen, and we're living in a crazy world. What are your thoughts on these guys completely kind of turning combat sports, kind of putting an eye on it to some of the things that are going on, and some of the things you guys have all been complaining about all along, which is as you guys don't really get taken care of. Whoever kind of makes the most noise around it gets taken care of the best. Not necessarily the greatest formula in the world, but it's one of these things like you're sitting there saying he should probably like anyone it's one of these things like we're about to see Tyron Woodley take him on, and we're seeing guys like Dean Thomas over this past weekend sitting there saying bare knuckle boxing is a place for it's a graveyard for MMA fighters. I don't think that's necessarily a true assessment. I think it's another sport, another avenue for fighters. Some people are just more talented with their hands than they are with everything else. Were they proficient at the other things? Yeah. They're proficient at it, but you've seen both guys and girls go in there who did have significant striking backgrounds who are looking fairly well at that. So it's like one of these things where we all have avenues, we all have our own thing, we all have our own, I guess, flavor, cup of tea when it comes to combat sports. Are the Paul brothers another thing that we have to add to this wrinkle, or is it something? Or is it a fad that we should hopefully see disappear within the next few years?
I mean, who knows? With the way that everything is now, with like the social media thing, and everybody wants to be on TikTok and doing all that kind of stuff, it's just like people want the loud show with the personality. I mean, you saw it even in the UFC years back when like you see guys start like Chael Sonnen going up against Anderson,
Brock,
or McGregor, like the guys that can really sell the fights and put the spectacle out there and everything like that and create all the drama. And I mean, that's what the American crowd wants to see. People want to see the characters. People want to see the behind the scenes.
Not only do they want the fight, they want the story behind the fight. They want everything. They want to know. They're just insatiable for it. Every inch about it when it comes to how the American fan consumes combat sports. They want the madness of it.
WWF back in the day. It's like they want to see.
But if you think about it, aren't most of the fans that are like that born from the Attitude Era?
I mean, could be. It's like Stone Cold running out with a chair or something like that, and then now you see McGregor throwing stuff through buses and whatnot. And people like seeing all that crazy stuff, and I mean. That's one of the,
is it not crazy to think some of that is kind of staged, consider the close relationship that Dana and Vince have created over the past like 10, 15 years?
I mean, maybe. Who knows? That's one of the reasons I switched to Muay Thai, because Muay Thai is still
pure.
It's very pure, and you see all like the traditions and everything like that. I mean, I haven't really encountered anybody who's who's trying to talk trash or anything like that, and yet we get in the ring and we try to elbow each other's face off right afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's without all, probably because it's lesser known. And I mean, it's
what are
like
some of your favorite traditions that Muay Thai has that is kind of separate from MMA that kind of makes it unique and special to you?
I mean, just the sport itself, the way that like the sport is really supposed to be like played out. Like if you watch two Thais over at like Lumpini Stadium in Bangkok or something like that, like Muay Thai is very unique in the way it's scored, in the way that it's kind of like in the way that it's just done overall. Like it's a lot about balance. It's a lot about like controlling yourself, controlling your opponent, controlling the space, landing shots with like effectiveness, with power, and not so much about just like going out there and being aggressive and just throwing for the sake of throwing. It's got its own rhythm and everything like that. But as far as like the rituals and the traditions and all that, like, I mean, you see behind me, I got the like the Mongol hanging up on the wall over there and everything. But like the Y crew that guys will do before the fight and everything. It's just very, it still feels like a traditional martial art. You know, it still feels like ancient as it should, which it is. But it doesn't have all the extra stuff that you see, like the Jake Pauls and the UFCs and the McGregors and the drama and the all that kind of stuff. No, it's guys generally being respectful and then getting out there and like just going to war with each other. Like you see Muay Thai fights, and I mean, it's funny when you go to an MMA show and you always have one member of the crowd is, oh, stand them up, kick them in the head, like da da da. I'm like, why don't you just go watch Muay Thai? That's all we do is just stand up the whole time, and us just trying to chop each other's legs off, punch each other, elbow each other, knee each other. If somebody gets swept down to the ground, come right back up to the feet and just keep going until it's all done. You know, it's just.
I mean, I think that's why kind of bare knuckle boxing's kind of also gotten really popular over the last handful of years. Then, you know, we also seen Jorge Masvidal's kind of doing a bare knuckle MMA type thing. Like I said, I think the uniqueness thing about the last 10 years is there's been shown you have more opportunities out of the brand name promotions. Like, yeah, the UFC's there, but like we've also seen so much over the past 10 years, fighters leave and have not only successful careers, but, you know, make, you know, good money outside of the UFC. And now we're starting to see multiple promotions, you know, being able to not just draw with them, but be able to take care of their fighters in such a way. So, like I said, my thing about combat sports, I love the way it's continued to grow, continue to find outlets for, you know, all the fighters, male, female, and you know, it's great. You know, my one thing I'll continue to beat on this is we need a few more weight classes for the women, and we need a few more for the guys, so you guys don't have to cut so much in between middleweight and light heavyweight. There's a cruiserweight name for a reason, guys. Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, it's one of the few things that I'll still complain about combat sports. We need some type of uniform judging around the world. We need a unified ranking system around the world. These are things I'll continue to beat on. Hopefully, you know, we'll get an independent, somebody who's actually not involved with any promotion, athletic commission or something to kind of really kind of get some good people behind something and remedy some of these few little things that we shouldn't have to worry about. But that would be a perfect world.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day we'll see.
Yeah, maybe one day. Yeah, you know, it's one of the things that, you know, you take the human things out of some of it is fine, but sometimes you need the human element in it to make sure everything kind of goes the way it should. But before I get ready to kind of let you go do your thing and enjoy the rest of your afternoon, Chip, you know how I typically do this, kind of throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, any sponsors you have, anything you're working with outside of MMA or in combat sports, charities, anything like that, that the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, thank you to everybody who's going to tune in on July 31st for a Lion Fight. See me do my thing once again, finally back at it. All my teammates at Sit Ya Tong in Boston, all my students down in Junico and Hyannis. All my guys that do the private lessons down here with me in my little domain. But yeah, man, I'm just ready to go. You can follow me at Chip the Surgeon on Instagram and on Facebook. But yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm just ready to have some fun again, ready to get back in there and just do my thing and put on a show for everybody.
That's what you always do, my friend. One more thing, man. After you got the line, this fight set up, and you had the announcement they made it in Boston, were you a little disheartened, like, oh?
I mean, I always told them, hey, if there's any shows elsewhere in the world, like, I'm fine with traveling. Like, give me an excuse to go to Sicily. I mean, who needs an excuse? I mean, give me an excuse to go wherever.
To fight, any plans to hang out in Sicily? Anything you want to catch in while you're there in Italy?
I definitely want to like enjoy some time out there after the fight. Go try all the pizza and pasta and see some of the beaches and whatnot. But yeah, when I heard about the Boston fight, even though I get to go to Sicily, which I mean, obviously between the two, you would probably want to do that. I was still like, man, there's a whole show in Boston and I don't get to be on it. Like, wow, that's
yeah. But here's the other side of it. If you think about it, then you can kind of just sit back and enjoy the show and exactly. Be around the people for once.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, there's the other side of that.
I'll have a bunch of friends and probably some teammates on the card. So it'll be a good time just being there, finally having a show in Boston, even though I don't get to be on it. But I can't complain because I'll be in.
Yeah, you think you just be coming back? You know, hopefully, successful title defense, some R&R there in Italy, down there in Sicily, coming back and catch out some more lion fights in Boston as they continue their little tour there. I'm gonna have a little talk with Scott. He needs to come over here to Philadelphia. I'm not playing with him. Other than that, man, always appreciate your time, Chip. Best of skill on the 31st, and we'll definitely have you back on here again, and talking some more Muay Thai, talking some more combat sports.
Awesome, thank you, bro.
All right, it's always a pleasure, man. You have a good one, and best of skill. Be safe.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, everyone. That was Chip, the surgeon, Moraza-Pollard. One of these guys who just does amazing things in line fights all around. One of these guys I love watching. He's going to keep doing this thing. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you get your UFC Fight Pass so you don't miss out on any of the line fight action. Obviously, they have multiple promotions that they have online on the UFC Fight Pass. Line Fight's one of them. They got all kinds of stuff. We just had, if I remember, the Cage Fury Grappling, which was just on it from the prior weekend. Cage Fury Fight Championship is right here in our backyard here in the tri-state area. So, other than that, this is another fun one for the Athlete Spotlight. Make sure you guys are tuned in for all our programming. Make sure you like, subscribe. Again, make sure you're also doing our HD premium memberships. Obviously, $9.90 a month. We're gonna have all kinds of perks, including shout outs, member only shows, appearances, weekly picks from our Money Pop podcast. Make sure you join today. Also, like I said, sent Tom a few things. We'll do some giveaways for some of the fam. I just did one this past Saturday. So, guys, make sure you're also checking out our codes. All the codes for Manscaped, for Body Check, and again, the premium membership will get you added in. Other than that, this is another Athlete Spotlight. I'll catch you guys on the rebound.